Hello and welcome to Baldwin Woodville High School for BW hosting Osceola, the Blackhawks and the Chieftains. Tonight, my name is Jordan Lehman for Blackhawk TV. I will be joined later by former high school basketball coach Stitt, currently middle school coach, so I think he's got some middle school basketball responsibilities right now, but will join us later for the varsity game. But I'll be riding solo for this JV contest. Thanks for joining us. For BW, we've got tipping number 11, Evan Clausen. Looks like for Osceola there is 22, Tegan Vibrock, or Vibrock, something like that. Other starters for the Chieftains, 00 is Ashton Gross. 1 is Ethan Hall. 12 with the ball right now is Caden Stuave, maybe, I'm not sure. And then that 11, Liam Harrington. Sorry. For the Hawks, 22, Ethan Ferndenzer. 24, James Borkard. 10, Jackson Johansson. And 14, Reese Guthrie. Early 3 from the wing. That's Hall, and that's 3. Or a long, did they call that a long 2? Apparently they called that a long 2 for the Chieftains. So 2-0. Baseline jumper, Evan Clausen, no good. This BW JV squad.
Test.
Hey, there he is.
There we are.
So cameraman Zach Ambrose joining me now. This JV Blackhawk squad started off the year a little slow rotation-wise. Weren't exactly sure how things worked best, but they've really come into their own as James Borkart ties it at 2. Coach Ashton doing a lot of 5-in, 5-out, where he'll just do a full platoon sub, and those different platoons working really well together. James Borkart began the year exclusively on varsity and has come down to play a couple halves of JV for this BW team. He started the year doing really well on varsity and actually had an injury, so I'm not sure if this is kind of a quote-unquote rehab assignment for James or if he's just wanting to play more basketball, and that's a good thing, regardless of the level. Nice take there by 22. That's Tegan Vibrock. He skies up for 2 for the Chieftains. But nonetheless, the Hawks have really found their own in this rotation between juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. Wing 3 by Borkart. You'll see him, capable player inside and out, really brings a perimeter threat and has for the varsity this season as well. So 5 apiece between the Chieftains and the Hawks. Vibrock really using his strength there to get to the rim. Tegan's got 7, and he'll knock that one away from Ferndenzer. Ambrose, you're on the mic?
I am, yeah.
So Osceola has always, in my experience, I don't follow it nearly as close as you, but their distance running, both track and cross country, from what I've seen in their trophy case and what I've observed as a fan, pretty impressive. Is that still the case?
Oh yeah. When we had a newspaper quote, I kind of threw him a bone and I said, hoping their ambition here should be to be like Osceola, and for girls to be kind of like Amory.
Yeah.
Osceola, both boys and girls, but that's just a buy-in factor. It's off-season training. I tell the kids a lot, Division II, not as much as Division I, because Division I is pretty much, if you're at a D1 school, you're going to have off-season training.
Yeah.
But at this level, it's if you run in the off-season, you've got a great chance to be decent, and it's just the way it is. And Osceola, they've found a way to get kids to train and run, and that's, I always say, the best way to get better at running is run.
Yeah.
But, yeah. There's last year, I think their point guard was one of their top runners. So it's always fun for me to see who are the runners in basketball. Like we had Jared Lance.
Yep.
A couple years ago, he almost made first boy here to make state since 1988,
Wow.
1987, and he was also, I think his junior year, was it his junior year basketball?
Yep.
Sophomore year, I think he dropped 20 points or something.
Yeah, he had a good career.
So very good in both. Otherwise, you don't see it too often. I think I don't know. I've always kind of found distance running doesn't so much keep you from getting tired on the court. Just my experience with playing kind of just pick up balls and stuff in college.
Yeah.
Like, I still get tired, but I recover a lot quicker.
Absolutely.
I think that's what it is. I mean, I could, like, oh, I'm out of breath, and boom, just like that. Because that's all running workouts are. It's repetition, rest, short rest, not enough to get fully recovered. And it's like, that's basketball. You run, you don't get a full recovery, and then...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, different kinds of, cardiovascular stress, with basketball being during those short bursts, largely aerobic, but super hard on your body. I mean, like you said, you get super short of breath, but then like you said, as the game goes on, basketball game, that's when the long distance running definitely kicks in the sense of, like you said, your body's used to being somewhat fatigued for long periods of time.
Yep.
And so it's able to recover quite quickly. And that's why, with figuring in different kinds of training to off-season programming for sports like basketball or football, is really important. Like doing short burst stuff where you're really, really tired at once, combined with long distance. Because I think long distance training has actually been neglected as non-essential for like a game like basketball or football, and I think that's completely false. I think it's a football game is 2.5 hours long.
Yep.
When you talk about timeouts and breaks and halftime and things, so your body is going to be under stress for 2.5 hours, and then you talk about basketball, similar. So I mean, I know that Nygaard, who's not on the mic, but he would train for football and basketball with just long distance running, and he said it helped him a lot. And I definitely can attest to that in the sense that it's hugely valuable. It doesn't matter your skill set, but Hawks up 9-7.
Yeah, it's funny because one of the biggest misconceptions with distance running is people think it's just like lifting. Oh, I'm going to get too much muscle. Oh, I'm going to lose muscle if I run. And it's just not necessarily true. I mean, I tell kids here, I said, I'm not big by any means, but I run all the time. And I said, I don't know. I think of my dad. He used to run half marathons, and
Yep.
there's a time he did like a 150 half marathon and bench 440. It's
Right.
it's an excuse some people have, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cause I've had it with girls where I don't want to lift because I'll get muscle, and it's like you're not. You'll get toned. There's nothing wrong with
Right.
being toned.
Yeah, you've I mean, yeah, from experience, just your body accommodates to what you do, and so if you nice up and under from Elijah Heimer, unable to finish, but your body will adapt to your training, and for those that worry, am I going to get knee issues or ankle issues or Achilles issues? Well, if you go too hard too quickly, you might.
Okay.
But if you're smart, if you're gradual with your training, and then slowly increase that intensity, what you're going to do is you're going to strengthen your knees, you're going to strengthen your ankles, you're going to strengthen your Achilles. It's the same thing for lifting. You're going to feel broken if you lift hard for a week, but if you lift hard for a month, you're going to feel stronger, a little bit more fresh, and then if you lift hard for 3 months, it's going to be just a part of your life. So nice take there by that's Tegan Vibrock again. He's had a really nice showing so far. Looks like he's a player that I would assume is going to work his way up the levels here. I think he might have a role in the varsity level soon for the Chieftains, because he looks like he's kind of in a different place than the rest of them. That's going to go out on the Chieftains. Ashton Gross is going to check in for Hall. In for the Chieftains right now also Devin Nelson is number 20. 14 is Connor Brown. They're both sophomores. Number 3 is Graydon Mork. He's a sophomore. In for the Hawks, they had a platoon sub of Brody Paul, Ryan Vienendahl, Elijah Heimer, Maddox Mahoney, and Landon Egan.
Yeah, it's just kind of occurring to me when I did stats our last year helping out with Nygaard. Quite a few of these guys were on the C team that I'd do the book just to help Carl out, Coach Carroll, and I was like, oh yeah, Eli, not Eli, Ethan Ferndenzer,
Yep.
Reese, Heimer. So it's me seeing them develop now. Versus then, it's fun to watch. I think Tyler he didn't play, but he was there.
Right. Yeah, he's number 33, Tyler Hare, starting left tackle for the Hawks football team. He's been through a lot when it comes to injury and has recovered and gotten stronger, and he's doing a really nice job. It's good to see him developing in athleticism and playing the sport he loves. I know he's always really enjoyed basketball. Nice feed there from Hare. His right guard, Elijah Heimer, not able to finish. They've done a lot of communication over the last 7 months. Corner 3, Sky arc on that from number 3, Graydon Moore. No good. He'll get it back. Tough take from Nelson. Good defense by the Hawks. Similar to last night for the girls against St. Croix Falls. Not a lot of fouls. Refs letting them play. And on the JV level, I mean, these two officials who do a lot of JV games, they do let them play. They let it get physical. And in my opinion, if you're trying to develop a player JV to varsity, that's never a bad thing, because the game only gets more physical the higher levels you play. I mean, like, when we were in high school, I think you're a fan of Derrick Rose. I remember he was one of the first guards to start wearing those padded arm, like the elbow pads on the armbands, like the compression sleeves, and then the knees, because that really never was a thing. Like the padded compression sleeves, whether it's legs or arms. And people were like, why is he doing this? He's soft. It's like, no, because it's a very physical sport.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and the way he played, it's always attacking the rim.
Yeah, there was a comparison the other day. I saw John Morant and Derrick Rose second-year stats, and if Morant can stay away from injury, he might be just about a 4-inch taller version of D. Rose.
Yeah, I remember the hype for him coming out of college, because he didn't play at a big school, did he?
No, Murray State.
Yeah, and it was, so it's,
Yeah, John Morant and the Grizzlies are the real deal.
What was the whole thing LeBron was upset about? He had some quote where he was just...
I'm not sure.
A lot of F words, and it was kind of like...
Just recently?
Yeah, he was just mad about something with the Grizzlies. I don't know if it was... They were
not sure.
I don't know. It was... LeBron's kind of in a weird place this year.
Yeah, I feel for Vogel, Frank Vogel, their coach, just because with LeBron's teams, love him or hate him, I think LeBron's probably the most complete basketball player I've ever watched. There's definitely things that he does that can be annoying. And one thing that always follows him is if it's going super well, it's LeBron's fault.
Yep.
If it's not going well, it's the coach's fault.
I know. It's like Frank Vogel's on the hot seat.
Exactly. Exactly.
Not his fault. I think he coached when the Pacers were really good, didn't he? Was he the coach of that team?
Yep.
They had, who did they have?
Paul George, Hibbert, Lance, or the guy that blew air in LeBron's ear. What was his name? Lance Stevenson.
That was Lance.
Timeout, Osceola.
And I think that goes to talking high school sports too. Sometimes it's easy to blame the coach, and it's like sometimes it's just like we talk about running. Like talent's talent. You can only do so much.
Yeah.
Now basketball, running you can't really game plan. You can have a strategy, but basketball, you can find ways.
That's one thing that I find really interesting about running, actually, is how much strategy, like, you even can implement in your own run. Like, understanding the terrain you're going to be running on, and then understanding the perceived effort you're giving. Because that's how I do it. I do it similarly to like, there's a rate of perceived effort it's called RPE.
Yep.
And then when you lift, that's kind of a big thing for lifters, is like, I'm not going to necessarily bench 80% of my max, I'm going to bench 80% of, like 80% effort essentially.
Yeah.
And that's the most I'm going to do. And that helps your body recover is what they'll say. But for me with running, that's the only way I really gauge it. Just because like some days an 8-minute mile feels really easy and some days an 8-minute mile feels like not sustainable, you know?
Yep.
And so you have to be you just have to be humble enough to be like, you know what? The body doesn't have that today, or it does have that today.
Absolutely. That's something you learn over time. Remember when I was in high school, it seemed, easy runs, it's kind of a weird term, easy.
Right.
I always say compared to everything else that you do, it's easy.
Yeah.
Racing, and then you have tempos and workouts. And high school is always for me, just young, and my coach, of course, told me not to, but and it's like, oh, I want to run 6:30 pace for 6 miles today or something.
Yeah.
And then, I get to college and my mileage increases, but my runs are like a minute slower, yet I'm significantly faster.
Right.
Because I started doing it by effort. I'm like, if I run 8-minute pace, that's how I am now. I'm like, who cares?
Exactly.
So I think.
And you'll feel it the next day. I mean, if you send it on a run and it feels good, the adrenaline's pumping, and you get that PR for the month or something. The next day, usually your body talks to you a little bit about you gave it yesterday.
Yeah, there was a they made the half not that I think the marathon. I can't remember what it was. I think a woman set something with the marathon. It was like a 2:19. It wasn't an American record, I don't think. Maybe it was. Anyway, it got me looking at her training log, and she runs upwards of 80, 90 miles a week.
Right.
And it made me think. This is more so funny with my, I guess, college buddies, but I went back and looked at my training, and at the peak, and I hit like I think 82 miles once in a week.
Yep.
And I'm like, holy cow! I mean, that's nuts.
That is.
And these people just, this lady works like full time, so she works 40 hours a week and still ends up running 9 miles. I mean, it's just dedication.
Yep. So the scoring slowing down in this one. Hawks and Chieftains tied at 11. 4:41 to go in this first half. 16-minute JV halves are played. The starters in for the Hawks.
Whoops.
Osceola has that inbounds go off the backboard.
Do you remember at Osceola? And roughing's hard, as Nygaard says. But it was like a shot, like bounced off the back of the hoop, and it was never called out of bounds. And we were sitting there like, that's out of bounds.
Yeah.
And then the play just kept going on. It was kind of.
I remember the
C team, of course. So.
Yeah, the C team year that Taylor Locker was a C teamer. He shot a ball from under the basket that went straight up and hit the cords that held the hoop up and came down and went straight through the hoop. And I wasn't sure if that was legal or not, but they counted it, and it was something that I don't even know if you could replicate it. It was
it's
uncanny. Nice move there from Brock, who's gonna. Looks like he's down with an injury. Wondering if there's a trainer here yet. Yep, there is. Good. I'm almost curious if that. It doesn't look like it's dislocated or anything. Might be some.
Just a quick strain sounds kind of.
Yeah, some kind of tendonitis in that joint.
Yeah, Schomer was telling me today with free throws, because yesterday we had a girl that kind of jumped a little bit. He was saying there's someone out there that says that's how you should shoot free throws. I think it's more natural. I kind of argue I think it's less taxing not to just go on your toes.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I kind of told him, I said, if it was better, more people would do it than
Yeah,
the
that's a good argument.
1% of 1%. And he said, "Oh, people used to do the underarm granny shot," and that's
that there's a real argument for. There's a real argument for that being. Yeah, there's something about it. If you like, I remember one day I was just curious how it would feel, and after a while, I don't know if it's just because that's the natural motion of the arm, is that down to up. Um, it just you can get a really good rhythm. For me, the hardest part is holding. How do you hold it?
yeah. How do you hold
How
it?
do you? But yeah, back in the day, that was for some players. Rick Barry being the famous one. He was one of the best free throw shooters of all time, and that's the only way he did it.
Do you have put some backspin on it, kind of?
Yep, exactly. Corner three, Landon Feedy, good.
Nice.
It'll be interesting to see who really emerges next season for the Hawks in the varsity level. Obviously losing, Thompson, Hush, Locker, and Offsey, 4 really valuable players. They're gonna bring back, Van Someren, Koonin, Fritz, Werner for sure. Maybe another sophomore that isn't playing comes back next year. That definitely could be a varsity contributor. But like between Borkart, Guthrie, Johansson, Ferndenzer, Clausen, like who really levels up in that way? Because I think they're going to be able to score. I mean, Koonin, Werner, both Fritz, even Sean have all proven with 10+ point games that they can put the ball in the hole. But it'll be interesting to see how that forms out next season.
Yeah, I think James will be a big contributor. Defensively, it's hard to replace Keegan.
Yeah.
Pretty much all he does. I mean, that's not someone you replace. That's someone your team's going to change a little bit.
Yep. Exactly.
So yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily looking who can replace him, or you put in someone like James, who sharpshooter. Because he plays. It was funny the other day you were talking about. He's only a sophomore.
Yep.
But we started the year. I know with Nygaard, I kept saying, "Is he a junior?" Because he plays like a junior.
Yep.
And it's like, gosh, he's only a sophomore.
Yeah, I mean, number 11, Evan Clausen, similarly,
Yep.
He does not play like a freshman in any respect. I mean, early in the year there were some lapses in judgment maybe, but he's really come into his own, and I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season, especially if the Hawks can really take care of business against some different teams in the conference that aren't as good as BW, frankly, if Evan gets in the game here and there, and even some first half moments where he can kind of feel the different pressure, the different speed, the different pace. Because he's going to be a contributor next year, there's no question, along with Borkart, like you said.
Yeah, I had Evan in class in 4th grade, and this is my first year teaching, so I'm just a young guy. And Evan, you can see him, he's taller, you're like, oh, this kid's, when kids have a good chance to be an athlete. And being a recess supervisor has its perks. Most of the time it's, kids that's the worst in kids you get at recess. And I'd occasionally get these, complaints that, Evan is essentially being overly competitive. And I thought, okay, I can either, write him a minor, or I brought up, and it's one of those things where I said it, I'm like, oh, he's going to remember this when he turns pro.
Yeah.
But it was just me saying, it's like, you got to learn how not, I asked him, what's that in basketball? And I think he knew could be a technical, so we just talked football. It's unsportsmanlike conduct, so the competitiveness he has, I'm assuming he still has it.
Right, yeah, it's
that'll be great for high school sports, just in general.
Yeah, it's a good job by you. That's a good job developing that competitiveness. Not telling him it's a bad thing, but rather, helping him understand that if you harness that aggression and that competitiveness, that you can use that to your advantage. Really nice finish there by Vibrock. Chieftains up 2. It's been a competitive game. This is a couple very capable JV squads, in my opinion. There's definitely some athletes that are doing things at a high level on both groups. I think both groups have a lot of depth, especially for a JV team. With Osceola running with 12 JV players, BW running with 11. Huge advantage. Hawks are going to take a timeout, a 30-second timeout. 10.9 seconds left. They're going to look for a last shot, I would assume.
Get the lead.
Sports betting something else. I was looking, the Badgers are, the line is at -2.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And ESPN even has them at like a 50 point, what was it? Yeah, 51% chance of winning. They're just relentless, ruthless. Like,
and maybe it's just Northwestern just beat Michigan State.
Exactly. And it's at Northwestern too.
Could be a barn burner. How many goals to think in the Badgers? Oops.
No, you're good.
Sorry,
yeah, no, it's just weird because Northwestern forever has been like good enough. Some years, I think they made the tournament, what was it, 4 years ago for the first time in forever. They barely made it in. But same thing with football. They always knock somebody off that they're not supposed to.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, big hair under the basket?
No.
Not quite. Decent look. Hall's going to turn and go. Are they going to get one off? Vibrock top of the key. Not quite. So, halftime, Chieftains 18, BW 16. Blackhawk TV will join you in about 10 minutes for the second half. Perfect. Hello again. We're back for the second half between the Hawks and the Chieftains. 16 minutes away from seeing who will win this JV contest. Varsity action will begin right around 7:15. And we will keep the stream up after the JV game. And games in the past we've switched streams completely for the varsity and JV, but tonight we will stay on this one. So if you're interested in that varsity matchup, stay on this stream and we will take you through that game. Hawks down 2 at the half. Hawks have same starters and Borkart, Clausen, Ferndenzer, Guthrie, and Johansson. Osceola, number 12, is Caden Stuve. 11 is Harrington. 00 is Gross. Number 1 is Hall. And number 22, who had a real nice first half, is Vibrock. Nice take there by Hall. Good dish to Stuve. Nice dish on the other end. Clausen for 2. So 2 apiece in the second half, making it 18-20 Chieftains. Hawks a little bit of pressure. Trying to force a turnover. And they'll tip that pass out of bounds, and BW will defend the under the basket inbounds. Looks like Chieftains are going to go elbows and blocks. Quick inside to Vibrock, who gets his own rebound. Borkart with the steal. Hall will come away with that one for the Chieftains.
Surprised Nygaard hasn't asked Logterman to come up here.
Yeah.
Is that a little louder? There we go. But my experience sitting on the bench by him, you'd yell, "Travel!"
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody. That was his keyword, travel.
Yeah. Yeah, Nev's a really good basketball mind. Fernzenzer's going to take that one away. He's going to try to go up for 2, and he will. This one all tied between the Hawks and the Chieftains at 20 apiece. Just barely do get it across the timeline. Do the Chieftains. Guthrie will swat that one away from Hall. Clausen will push for the Hawks. Nice take there by Ferndenzer. He's going to muscle through for an and one opportunity, and those are brought to you at Blackhawk TV by Packman's Concrete. You can reach Nick Pack at Packman's Concrete at 612-804-5222 or packmansconcrete at gmail.com for all your concrete needs.
Kind of read that jersey in 23.
That's a Jimmy B.
Okay.
Jimmy Butler. He was on the last Timberwolves playoff team, but I don't know if he's going to go down as the most popular Timberwolves player.
Probably not after trying to.
Because they had Tom Thibodeau as well as a coach for a couple years. I think that's what Jimmy saw to bring him to Minnesota, but I don't know. Minnesota is. They got a better roster this season. They're doing pretty well there.
They just beat the Warriors, I believe.
Yeah, they're in the play-in slot at the moment. If the season were to end today,
That's the 6, 7, 8. What seeds are those?
6 through 6, 7, 8, 9, I believe.
Not opposed to it.
No, it's more
People hate it.
basketball.
We were just talking about the 7th seed for football. I'm not opposed to more basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be interesting if it'd be. I mean, the thing with football, you can't play as much. Thinking high school, but if every team made the playoffs in high school football, they would. Thing is, that would be a lot of more games.
Yeah.
It'd be a. I don't know how you would even structure it.
No, and the thing that is sad about that is like the risk for injury. Just the more football you play, the higher the higher probability is somebody's gonna get dinged. And some of those like 1-8 games, or like let's say it was 1-16, one seed playing the 16 seed, it probably would be over by the end of the first. In high school football at a high level, it's usually over by the end of the first quarter.
That's
so.
True.
But there would undoubtedly be some instances of upsets, and there's always upsets in the WIA playoffs.
Has Baldwin ever, at least in recent memory, as boys pull off?
Yep. Yeah, in 2018, we went down to West Salem for our level 1 game as, I believe, a 6 seed, and beat West Salem in West Salem, the 3 seed, on a pair of Robert Crowley field goals. He hit, I think, a 45-yarder and another long one, and defense played unbelievable. And yeah, knocked them out. It's a great story, true story. You can ask the O-line. Obviously, that's who I walk out with as I coach them. But we were, like in a lot of years, quite undersized. And they actually, West Salem, I think it was the linebacking crew, was warming up on the sideline, and we walked by them as we walked out for warm-ups and heard some audible laughter from them as they kind of looked up and down our O-line unit, and we ended up beating them, so it felt really good.
Oh, yeah.
Top of the key, Landon Feedy for 2. Got a nice quick release. Yeah, it's always good to beat those teams. I mean, I think they were still in the Mississippi Valley Conference at that time. Has West Salem usually been in the MVC, or is it Cooley?
Yeah, see, that's the thing that's confusing with football. Every other sport, they're not. I believe they're in the Cooley. Mississippi Valley is Aquinas, Central, Logan.
Yeah.
Holman, Sparta, Onalaska. But then, football, for a while, I believe they have been.
Yeah.
Because then Aquinas is just too. There was a year where I don't know if they'd even field a team. Like, it was kind of crazy.
And then they're state champs this year.
Yeah, it's just with I think I told you in Nygaard, I believe it's my second cousin, quarterback, Flopmeyer.
Really? He's your second cousin?
I tried to go to the family tree. There's a lot of Flopmeyers.
Okay.
But it's like my grandpa's brother's something on there.
Okay. Yeah, he's going to be a division. He's got a real chance to be a Division I quarterback.
Yeah, he's tall. He's only a junior.
I know. He's probably the best returning Q in the state. He's a stud. So the Hawks pulled ahead momentarily, but the Chieftains right back ahead, 25-24. Just about 6 minutes gone in this second half. Nice dish under the basket. Number 20, Devin Nelson, is going to finish for 2. We're going to get a timeout from the Hawks, 30-second timeout.
What was the kid's name? Remember, obviously Bronson wasn't the one that necessarily went off against us in, what, 2012?
Mm-hmm.
There was the other kid. I'm trying to think of his name.
Yeah, he was I can't remember. Yeah, Bronson probably had 20 assists that game, though. He was insane.
Where was that played?
I believe Stanley Boyd.
Stanley Boyd.
Yep. Yeah, Bronson had a... Or was it... No, I'm sorry, Osceola Fairchild. One of the two. Yeah, it was Osceola Fairchild.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah, they've got a cool gym. But yeah, Bronson had a volleyball line to volleyball line cross court, like about 3/4 length court pass with his left hand. So his offhand early in the game, and I was like, well, he's different.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's a different level. That was 2011, I believe. 2012 was the year that Ryan Benoit got hurt. He tore his ACL, and BW got beat pretty handily in Arcadia. But we played Aquinas. And actually that year, Bronson's junior, because that was Bronson's sophomore year that they beat us in Osceola Fairchild, and then his junior year they lost to Prescott at, I believe in the regional final. Bronson had a broken finger, but that's because, well, in large part also because they lost. I can't remember the player you're thinking of, but I know what you're talking about. There was another really good player for them that had a huge game against Baldwin Woodville in 2011. But I'll never forget, he's the only high school player that I watched have a different warm-up, like, layup line. Like, he had his own coach that would rebound for him.
I didn't know that.
Yep, and then he would do, like, his own warm-up drills.
Because why not? You're Bronson Koenig.
Yeah, he got what he wanted.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, yeah, I don't mean to open doors. But with where he lived in La Crosse Central.
Right.
You know, where he would have gone if he didn't go to Aquinas. And it's just crazy to think La Crosse Central could have gone from Bronson Koenig
To Kobe King
to Johnny Davis.
Yeah.
There's a kid now, he's not the best, but Devin Fielding. If you look him up on Wiz Sports, he's one of the top 20-22 backcourts. And it's just, geez, it's like...
Yeah. No, La Crosse is the... I mean, if you talk about Western versus Eastern Wisconsin, it is the quote-unquote metropolitan area of Western Wisconsin. I mean,
essentially.
Onalaska, Sparta, La Crosse, like, obviously La Crosse being the largest, but that kind of conglomerate, there's a lot of people, and a lot more than you think of, and it's, you know, it's produced a good amount of talent.
Yeah, because I looked once, and I believe they haven't. I think they've had one losing season. Because I think Todd Ferguson started in like 2003, and I want to say they've only had one. He's only ever had one losing season.
Sure.
I believe it was actually like my senior year. Just, you know, the way it was. I didn't pay a ton of attention when I was in high school, but. Meanwhile, on the other side of the marsh in La Crosse, across Logan, it's.
Yep.
You know, they haven't been good in a long time.
I know.
And I highly doubt anyone listening has. Well, there's 50. Someone could have a tie to La Crosse Logan. Not saying they weren't ever good.
And then it's weird, like 6 miles. What is it, like 6 miles away on Alaska? They're
It's
just
like,
they're a powerhouse in
like
basketball.
La Crosse Logan to Onalaska is about a mile.
That's
mile
crazy.
And then Holman, you know, it's just Holman doesn't. Holman, actually, I think Holman might be decent.
But
it's crazy.
You talk about like a conference where like Holman, Sparta, Onalaska, like away games are essentially home games.
Yeah, it's
like
weird.
You're going 5 miles down the road, 7 miles down the road. It'd be like Baldwin playing Woodville.
Constantly, yeah. You're never hitting a highway. You're going through the city every single time.
Yeah.
That's why when River Falls is in it for football, it's 2 hours for them, but everyone else it's.
And I'm sure that you just get so familiar with different like athletes you compete against, just from like the youth leagues up. Like I'm sure there's a lot of happenings where you play with a kid and all of a sudden you're competing against a kid, like just
Oh, yeah.
with so how condensed everything is.
Yeah, there's just like, and there's county line, there's lines here. I mean, in lacrosse, it's a street, and if you live on one side of the street, you'll go to Logan.
Yeah.
Other side, you're in Central unless you open and roll.
Right.
I mean, I had a friend that he didn't live that far away from me, and he went to Logan. Oddly enough, we both went to River Falls, and we're like, oh yeah, you went to Logan, ran against you, like
Yep.
you said. It's a little different than up in the smaller towns here.
It's kind of crazy. The season flies by, but 3 weekends of football left. Got the divisional championships and then the Super Bowl, which is the Super Bowl 2 weeks after the conference championship.
Yeah, I think the Pro Bowl's in between it.
Yeah.
Didn't the Pro Bowl used to be after the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're like, yeah, more people will watch. That's kind of.
But that's when a lot of people's basketball, like, if you're not a fan of high school basketball, that's when a lot of people start to pay attention to like the pro game and
March
college
Madness
game.
is coming up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good timing. You get a couple weeks, but that's like you said, the Badgers will be, playing for probably first place at some point.
Mhm. Yeah, they've got enough quality wins at this point to where they could go significantly under 500 down the stretch and still make the tournament. So they're going to be a tournament team for sure. Hopefully they can continue to win. I mean, there's a lot of good teams in the Big Ten, but they've already taken care of business against quite a few of them. So, I mean, they haven't played Minnesota yet. They haven't played
Illinois,
Nebraska. Illinois is very good. Yep, they're going to have to beat Illinois.
Kofi Colburn, that's going to be.
He's a stud.
Because Purdue, they're. Oops, who is it?
Angela Nielsen got hit. Yeah, Purdue's good, but they've, obviously the Badgers already took care of business at Purdue.
That was Zach Edey or whatever.
Yeah.
And Wisconsin had a problem. I mean, they couldn't.
Absolutely,
got
they
in foul
did.
trouble. So
without Johnny Davis being insane, just going superhero mode, 37 points in a conference game is ridiculous. I don't ever remember that. That's the best performance in a conference game I can remember from a Badger.
Yeah, and he does this. Yeah.
And his bad nights are like a 14 and 10 double-double.
Yeah, people saying what was it, the last game?
Yeah, 14 points, and it's like if that's a bad night, then
Take it.
goodness gracious, the dude averages almost 22 points a game, which is a lot for the college game.
Oh, we do get the band tonight. We get the band every conference game. Let's start to connect the dots.
I don't know. I think at one point that was a protocol. I'm not sure if. I know they do go to home hockey games as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure how many. Shout out to the hockey team. They're having another successful season under Coach Trickle. Good look there from Vibrock, but not able to handle it is Gross. So the Hawks up 1, just under 5 minutes to play. Defensive show out between these two very capable JV squads, both. Well, we got a shoe completely off right now for Gross, so we're going to get that shoe back on and tied up.
I'll say it right tonight. The theme is grout fit.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well,
I
looks like we
I
got some gray.
mispronounced it because I've never. High schoolers, yeah. I hope they never hear me actually saying the other way.
No.
Because track and cross country, I'll never hear the end of it.
Yep.
That's how you know you're getting old. I was like, what? Oh.
Yeah.
It's on Urban Dictionary. It's probably.
Nice board by Guthrie. He's going to go to the line.
Well, I see some of the middle school girl basketball players, so Stitt should be up here soon.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
ask him how it did tonight in Amory.
Yep, I love. It was actually going to Osceola. We would a couple times ran into it where our middle school basketball team was playing in Osceola or in Amory, and then we would come in with our C team.
Oh, I remember Amory that happened. Yeah.
And I love watching Stitt and Schomer coach just because they both like have the same facial expression
They're just
and the same demeanor the whole time.
It's like what's it? Yeah, I don't watch a ton of Friends. Have you seen Friends? All
Yeah.
of them? What's
Yeah.
the red? Who is it that gets like the red face? He screams. Joey.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I've heard references.
I remember Stitt once. I have a great. So I'm a freshman, and we're doing. You remember turn drill?
Yeah.
Where you just, it's you and the ball handler, and you have to. And I was doing turn drill against a junior, Jordan Johnson, who was much quicker than me. I mean, I wasn't the quickest player ever, but he was very quick, and so I mean, he was just constantly beating me to the turn. And he was a junior as well, and I was a freshman, so he didn't know me, and then by default didn't like me. So he was like making me look bad. And Stitt was just railing into me. I mean, just all the way up and down the half court. Like, come on, Liam, you're gonna move. I'm like, I'm
trying.
I don't physically have the capability. But I was so scared because I just, your eyes wide open with your first ever high school basketball practice, and yeah, that was fun. It was too bad because we had an 8th grade season where we went 17-3, and we had a lot of fun, beat some ranked teams in the state, and then we had 3 players that were brought up to JV right away. So our C team lost our 3 best players, and we still had a good season under Coach Holland, but that's where I kind of developed the philosophy that, unless you really, really have to bring a kid up because it's really evident that they shouldn't be on that level, like letting kids play together is a big deal. And I think that we've seen that. We let Mason Werner and Eli Koonin, Sean Van Someren play together as freshmen, and then they played together as sophomores as well, and they've kind of come into their own now as juniors after playing those 3 consecutive seasons together. I think it's valuable.
Yeah, well, we were just talking this Osceola team when we did C team.
Yep.
They could have easily brought up some of these freshmen. And
Oh,
they
yeah.
were like, no, keep them together. Let them have fun.
And they won a lot of games.
Yeah, they beat us, and we didn't lose too many games that year.
No. Yeah, we got a physical ending here, as we always do with these officials. I think these officials do a good job, to be honest, when it comes to the JV contests, because JV games are a little bit more haphazard usually. But they definitely, these boys, especially for BW, they love to get physical. Jackson Johansson has no issue with lowering his shoulder and probably prefers it to actual basketball skill work.
Jackson's quite the athlete. He did track as a freshman last year, and I think we just messed around. He's like, hey, let's do long jump. He goes and jumps 16, 17 feet without any practice. High jumps, and it's like, yeah, he's a good high jumper. This is a freshman. What is he, 200, 100? So he's got a bright future here.
Yeah,
in all sports.
He started as a sophomore at linebacker, which in the Middle Border Conference usually that's a huge deal. And if you're competing and winning games, that's even bigger deal. So we had Cal Smith and Jackson Johansson starting at linebacker this year, and Cal struggled with injury, but he's a very, very good athlete. But Jackson, he didn't get a ton of run on offense, so he played a JV game later in the season and probably rushed for 175 yards. Like, literally hadn't even in practice really ran the ball, but we just put him at fullback, and it was just like a bowling ball, just boom, boom, boom. Jeez. And he would cut. He's a next level athlete, and he's a goofy kid. He's fun to joke around with.
Very coachable.
Oh yeah, he loves to be coached and coached hard. He has no issue with that, which is a testament to how he's been raised. He's just a good kid, and his younger brother is just about as tall as him already as a 7th grader. So it'll be a lot. Yep, more Johanssons up the line, which I'm excited about. There he is. So in a little bit here, I'm going to be joined by Coach Stitt, who just got done with his coaching duties for the evening.
You can have some popcorn if you want.
Yep, and so Coach Stitt's going to join us for the varsity game. We've got about 2.5 minutes left of this JV contest. 33-32 Hawks up 1. And a big high arcing 3 is going to bank in. That's Devin Nelson, and that gives the Chieftains the lead.
Say Coach Stitch right in time for a good ball game, good ending.
Yeah, no kidding. Are we live?
How we doing, guys?
Oh, there we go.
Good. It's good to have you, Coach Stitt. How did tonight go for? Is it BW Girls Middle School?
It was both 7th and 8th grade picked up some wins at Amory. Nice job tonight.
Good job.
It looks like I came just in time to see a thrilling finish.
Yeah, it's been back and forth. Physical game. 2 good JVs. I think the BW JV squad's on a bit of a winning streak, 4 or 5 in a row, and some really deep JV squads. 12 players for the Chieftains and 11 for the Hawks. Hall makes the first. Chieftains in the bonus. So trying to put the Chieftains up 2 possessions is Hall. And not quite. So Hawks, minute and a half to go. Evan Clausen is going to bring it up.
Plenty of time, run your offense.
Borkart just inside the half circle for 2. Hawks within 1. A little bit more of this pressure from Coach Ashland's group, and this is going to produce some chaos, and we'll stay with the Chieftains.
Yeah, looked kind of like Osceola lost the ball a little bit there, but nothing really with possession. I don't really think you could call anything.
Right. Hall's going to get in the lane, and short jumper is hard off the iron, so the Hawks are going to turn and go with just about a minute to play.
Looks like Coach Ashland's got a play called for him.
And Hawks fortunate to get that one back.
So down to 1, are we looking for just the best shot, or pretty typical?
Well,
to me, if I'm down 1,
that's a really good option.
That is. Down 1, I think you got to just score. You can't. I'm not a big fan of holding it if I'm down at all, just because I don't want it to end like that. Other coaches might have a different philosophy from that, but if I'm down, I want to make sure I have the lead before I would ever pull the ball out.
Sure. So Evan Clausen's going to finish at the rim and have the opportunity for the old-fashioned 3-point play. Not going to fall, but a nice offensive rebound by Ferndenzer. 3-point play is brought to you by Packman's Concrete.
I'm just going to say, having not been here, I was surprised he didn't call timeout when Ferndenzer was caught under there. Maybe he was yelling for it, just didn't quite get it. But obviously they had one there.
So full timeout, Coach Ashland. Like I said, Evan Clausen with the and 1 puts the Hawks up 1. Not able to convert on the free throw, but those are brought to you by Packman's Concrete at 612-804-5222 or packmansconcrete@gmail.com. You can reach Nick Pack for all your concrete needs. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors here at Blackhawk TV. We will list those off throughout the varsity stream, which will be the same stream that we've used for the JV game. So stay with us for BW and Osceola. It's about 20 seconds left of the timeout.
So having just sat down here, has this been a close game all the way through?
Yeah.
Game of runs, what's it been?
Osceola held the lead for most of the first half. It's always been between 5 and 3 between either team. I think the Hawks' biggest lead in the second half was 3. Osceola's gone back and forth, but it's been a defensive, physical game. A lot of loose balls, a lot of guys diving around the floor. So great effort by both squads. Really impressive unit for Osceola. Clausen to Guthrie, he's going to be fouled, and he's going to have an opportunity for 2 free throws to pad this Hawks lead.
And interesting in that position that they did go and attack the basket. Now you do have a lead. I kind of think it's the right move since Osceola's only had 4 fouls. You maybe could have made him burn some, but
sure,
you got a opportunity to attack the basket. I think you almost always do that, especially in a 1-point game.
Sure. So Guthrie will hit 1 of 2. Osceola's going to have 26 seconds to tie or take the lead. We're going to have a full timeout for the Chieftains.
See if I can find the girls.
So tonight, girls basketball, the Lady Blackhawks are in Barron for another non-conference matchup with a Heart of North team. Last night, BW girls picked up a very quality non-conference win here over St. Croix Falls, who is near the top of that Heart of North at 12-3 now overall. The girls bounced back from 2 tough losses in conference last week, and it was good to see that for them. Coach, have you had the opportunity to watch the girls a little bit this year?
I did. I watched the game last night. Obviously, we came out in the second half, really played well, I thought. Defensively, it's been there all season.
Sure.
Even Friday night against Prescott, girls played phenomenal defense against Prescott. Just really struggled on the offensive end of getting it in the basket. I don't know if you watched that game down there as well, but both games, and really in general, their D has been
really good. Yeah, for sure.
And hopefully the offense comes. We'll see.
Yeah, and I think, ooh, that's a nice drawn play. Hall's going to sky for an acrobatic attempt. No call. Hawks go straight up, and that's going to be out of bounds on the Chieftains, and we're going to get another timeout as Osceola puts on some pressure. So, as it happens sometimes in close games down the stretch, these last minute or two take quite a while. Obviously, we've got the varsity rosters and their respective corners ready to take the court for warm-ups, and it's a good matchup tonight. I think, you know, BW's on quite a run. They've won 6 in a row at the varsity level. They're, you know, all by themselves at 3rd place in the conference at 4-2, 9-3 overall. But Osceola it's an older group. They've got quite a few seniors, and they're at 6-5, 3-3 in conference. So I know that in your experience, in my experience as a fan, Osceola BW has always been a tough matchup. It's been, you know, back and forth throughout the years, and I think tonight's it's a good opportunity for the Hawks to pick up a home win, but I know Osceola is hungry for a quality conference win as well.
Yeah, I think this could be a tough game for BW. I think you look at them on paper, you'd look at BW as being the favorite, but like you said, Osceola always seems to play us tough. They do some things that are just kind of difficult.
Right.
We'll look for an up screen and a couple guys running out, and potentially one might be open here. And this is, again, a situation, if you have a layup, you shoot it.
Right.
Layup puts you up forward. Don't take your chances at the free throw line. And they kept a guy at half. They should not have thrown that ball. But
yep, lucky there to get it through. I'm not sure we're going to get a push, looks like, by 14, I believe. But yeah, I think, Ferndenzer thought it was clear skies, and it was not. There was a free safety waiting.
There was, absolutely. Kind of lucky that wasn't picked off. And that's really all you're looking for as the thrower is there somebody there at half court? And that time there was. So usually you hold that, you get it to your guard in the backcourt. Let them do that. So we've got a bonus now. And again, a chance to put it away.
Yeah.
Let's see what they can do.
Yeah, free throws, hugely important part of the game that, you know, you don't always think about as maybe a casual fan, but it's hard to practice free throws in the sense of the pressure. And as a coach, you try to replicate that in as many ways as you can, whether it's pressure free throws in practice or, you know, fatigued free throws in practice. But feeling that adrenaline rush as a player, it's hard to replicate that. But James Borkhardt does a nice job there.
Boy, he didn't look like he was pressured, did he?
Nope, smooth. But that's a huge shot. Huge shot from Ethan Hall, a deep three, and that's going to give the Chieftains an opportunity to pretty much guarantee another possession where they're down only a possession. If they're able to steal or get a quick foul, they're going to get a chance. That's a big shot. That's really the only thing that Osceola needed. They did get. So Coach Ashland's going to have to get this ball in.
I wouldn't be surprised if they ran the same play here. The two guys screening up again. You're screening up with your guards, running them out, trying to get the ball to one of those guys. You only throw the ball deep if somebody's wide open, and I think that's probably what he's talking about right now. Hey, if that guy is playing back, don't make the throw this time. Make the short throw, get it to the guard. Let the guard dribble it up. He's going to get fouled right away. With 6.7 seconds left, the other thing you can talk about is if you stay in the backcourt, you can't get a 10-second call.
Right.
And there's no 5-second closely guarded in the backcourt. So you don't have to move with it.
Correct.
I don't see the possession arrow.
Looks like it's at the Chieftains, so you don't want to get tied
you
up.
Definitely don't want to get tied up, but that's about the only real bad thing here, barring a turnover, you can have.
So we got 4 across for the Hawks. Johansson inbounding. They're going to get it into Clausen. He's going to get fouled, and so Clausen's going to have an opportunity to put the Hawks up 3. And if you're the Osceola coach here, you got to stress the box out. Absolutely need to get the defensive rebound because there's not a lot of time to spare for a quick offensive rebound, because we're going to have the 1-and-1, so Clausen obviously hoping to make both of these, but should he miss, I'm sure Ferndenzer and Guthrie are going to try their best to gather the board.
And that might have been the longest shoe tie I think I've seen in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, I think he might have unlaced completely and just laced back up. So Clausen's going to take a deep breath, and first one will not roll in, but he's going to try to get his rebound, but we've got 2 seconds, and that was a little too early. Unfortunate there for Osceola, as they thought, that player maybe thought that there was less time left than there was. But at any rate, really, really competitive, quality JV contest. Props to both teams. BW comes away with another home victory. I believe that puts the winning streak right around 5 or 6 for this group. So Coach Ashland, well done. For Blackhawk TV, we're going to take a quick break. We'll join you back on this stream for the varsity matchup between the Chieftains and the Hawks in about 15, 17 minutes. Thanks for joining us for the JV game, JV portion. We'll see you soon. Hello and welcome to Blackhawk TV's presentation of BW, hosting Osceola here at BW High School in Baldwin, Wisconsin. My name is Jordan Lehman. I'm joined by cameraman Zach Ambrose, and tonight, Coach Anthony Stitt. How you doing, Coach Stitt?
Doing great. Just had the opportunity to watch a outstanding JV finish. Missed most of the game. I was up in Amory with the 7th and 8th grade girls. Got 2 wins up there. Watched
awesome
JV victory down here, and we're hoping to get things done on the varsity floor tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Osceola coming to town tonight. They've won 3 of 4, and this is their 5th consecutive road game. So they're capping off a 5-game road streak where they've won 3 of the 4 road games there. Hitting all hitting on all cylinders at the right time as this conference slate kind of gets in the thick of it. And they've got a group that, led by Braden Bradway and Garrett Slater. Bradway at over 15 a game, and Slater just around 10 points a game. They're a physical team, a tough kind of minded team. They showed that this fall in the football field with a really successful season, their most successful season in about 4 years. And they're gonna, like we said during the JV game at the end of it, they're gonna bring a tough game to BW. BW obviously has won 6 in a row. They're hitting all strides as well. But like you mentioned, Osceola always has given BW problems. They're always a tough out, and it should be a fun one tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking. It's been a few years, I guess, since I've watched an Osceola game. There's a couple of familiar faces over there on the Osceola bench. Tyler Olson, head coach. You got Ryan Sauve, Greg Cumlin over there. That obviously BW fans remember from the days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some great players at their time.
Yeah, for sure. And to talk a little bit more about our guys, the Hawks. Like I mentioned, 6 consecutive wins, and they continue to spread the wealth on offense. Leading scorer, only 12 points a game with Keegan Offsey, but they've got a number of guys right around, between 7 and 10 points a game. And they share the ball so well. They're methodical on offense, but they'll take their fast break opportunities when they get them. And so Caleb Locker, a senior, has worked his way into the starting lineup, and he's kind of remained there. Mace Werner was out with an illness for a while, and it remains kind of that 6th man. They're 9-3 overall, 4-2 in the middle border, which is one of the tougher conferences in Western Wisconsin, particularly in Division 3. So it's going to be a fun one tonight. We're about a minute away from the national anthem here and introductions. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll join you after introductions for the tip between the Hawks and the Chieftains. All right, so we are just moments away from the tip. Starting for the Chieftains, we've got number 1, that's Aiden Steffen, he's a junior. Number 2, Garrett Slater, a junior. Number 4, Braden Bradway, their leading scorer, a junior. And seniors, number 12, Tyler Ulrich, and 33, Luke Haas for the Hawks. Number 1, sophomore, Colin Fritz. 3, Caleb Blocker, he's a senior. 23, tip, Keegan Offsey. 34, the big man, Eli Coonan, and the everyday point guard, number 5, Cam Thompson. So a quick win of the tip there by Offsey, and BW going right to left on your screen will get things started.
And Osceola starting out in a man.
Osceola having a very successful fall on the football field. A lot of those players here on the basketball court, but Eli Coonan, talk about football physicality from Eli Coonan. They're shouldering in for 2-0 BW.
Really nice job there by Coonan getting deep. Hey, it's tough to stop somebody when they get that deep.
Great position in the post. Hawks in that tough man-to-man defense. Arguably the best defense in the conference. One of the best defenses in this part of the state. And they'll force a turnover there. Keegan Offsey and company, that defensive squad, turned away a very, very good Turtle Lake team that came to town just last week.
And Osceola coming out here with a little pressure. Gonna try and make these guys work a little bit, bringing the ball up the floor. Looks like they're not looking to trap, just a little straight man.
Number 2, Garrett Slater, a very good football player and a very good basketball player. He will get called, though, with a body as he pressures Caleb Blocker in the full court. Caleb Blocker, a player that's worked his way through the ranks of C-Team JV and now a starter in the varsity level. It's really cool to see. He's earned it in every way, shape, and form.
It is, and he's really done a nice job while he's been in there. That's been a shot. If you've watched the last couple of games, that right there, that little pull-up, that's been a shot that Cameron's really been hitting the last couple of games. Had a really nice game against Altoona, hitting that shot. Missed that one a little bit, but I would expect to see that coming back again.
Right, and Ulrich from 3, no good, but who's there? Slater using his physicality to go up for the and one opportunity. A little bit of a mismatch there. Locker giving up a few inches and a few pounds to Slater, and Slater does a nice job of the offensive boards. He's going to have a chance to give Osceola their first lead.
Yeah, and he was just able to go up over Locker without fouling. Nice play by him, and they're sticking with that pressure. Looks like so far just a little token pressure. We'll see if they try to trap out of it a little bit later. Right now, just trying to take a little bit of time.
Offsey, number 23, one of the premier defenders in this part of the state, and leading scorer for these Hawks. He's going to penetrate. He's going to go up and under, just long. Nice offensive rebound there by Coonan using his size, and he's getting going early. 4 early points, 4-3 BW.
Yeah, really cleaning up the glass there, and that's good to see out of Eli. Shooting touch struggled a little bit the other night, but if he gets rolling, he is tough to stop.
Absolutely.
You talked about Keegan. One thing that Keegan has really done well lately, too, is hit that perimeter shot last couple games. And I thought we were going to see one there, but he held her back. Let's run some offense.
Cam Thompson gets instructions from his head coach, and he'll get things moving for BW. You're absolutely right. Keegan was one of the best perimeter shooters last year. And has continued that stroke into this year. Hawks going to go right to Coonan again. He's going to be physical once again. And we're seeing a lot of Eli Coonan right away, and that's 6 early points for the big man and for the Hawks.
It was, and you saw that ball screen on the top. Osceola switched it. Great recognition by Thompson to see that they switched smaller guy over there onto Coonan and immediately got him the ball.
Top of the key, Braden Bradway. He's the leading scorer for these Chieftains, and he's got 3, a deep 3 to tie the game at 6. So Luke Haas for the Chieftains, number 33. One of the bigger bodies Coonan's going to go up against in the conference. Like you mentioned, they took advantage of the switch on the screen that last possession.
And there he is again.
Offsey, deep 3 right wing, no good. Rebound will go to Steffen. He's going to fire it ahead to Ulrich, down to Haas for 2. Really nice transition basket there by the Chieftains.
And a couple of disappointing things there on the Hawks last possession. They had Coonan had good position twice in a row. The guy has been kind of a bell cow. That time they did try to get it to him. Didn't see the weak side help, but both times you could hear the coaches get it to him, get it to him. When a guy's hot, you keep feeding him.
Absolutely. So the Chieftains a takeaway in that last possession. Now have the ball and the lead at 8-6. Trying to find Ulrich under the basket. Braden Bradway throws it to Fritz, and the Hawks are going to have a chance to tie or take the lead. Offsy just inside the half circle, looking to get rid of it. He does. Once again, helping from the weak side is Osceola.
Yeah, you see what that guy is doing when he's cutting. When we either have a cutter going through, the defender is just staying there to double up Eli. That's something that we're going to recognize. I would expect to see a cross-court three coming up here, maybe a little later this half. You gotta counteract that. If he's just going to stay there, help out on that weak side, and leave his guy go free. That time he let Cameron Thompson go free, and if they're going to keep doing that, you got to burn him on the outside.
Unfortunately, in that possession, the Chieftains able to force a turnover with that post pressure. No basket though, with Haas and Bradway both missing near the hoop, so the Hawks get it back. Werner and Van Someren subbed in for the Hawks. So Van Someren, that's his favorite shot, the baseline too, unable to make it, but who's there? The senior Keegan Offsey, 3-year starter for the Hawks. He ties the game at 8.
Yeah, really nice follow. Good shot there by Van Someren. Good follow by Offsey.
Chieftains yet to substitute and nobody at the scorer's table, so rocking with the starting 5. Bradway right wing 3 off to the left. Werner will sky for the rebound. Werner, last time the Hawks were here, really big game offensively. Had over 15 points for BW, and coming off the bench, that's hugely valuable.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've kind of noticed here, at least at the start of the game, the Hawks this year really haven't been pushing the tempo a whole lot. They look like they're trying to get the ball up the floor in a little bit more of a hurry than they have in the past.
Sure.
We'll see if that continues as the game goes, but normally they've been kind of a walk it up on offense team, take your time, and they're still taking their time here on offense. But you've noticed when they do get a rebound that they're looking like they want to run.
Right. And Cam Thompson, after a methodical possession, finishes with a corner 3. So his first 3 of the game put the Hawks up 11-8. Bradway's going to go right to the rim. No call there. Physical finish. He hit his head on the way down, so it's 5-on-4 right now for BW. They're going to find Keegan Offsey in transition. Right wing 3. Good. And we're going to have a quick timeout for Osceola. Transition 3 by Offsey puts the Hawks up 6, and we'll have a 30-second timeout. And I'm going to read an ad here from Flagship Ford. Flagship Ford is your source for new and used Ford cars, trucks, SUV parts, and service, and more in the Baldwin area. Our goal is to provide the best possible service to our customers and make sure your car buying experience is second to none. We are conveniently located at 850 Fern Drive, Baldwin, Wisconsin, 54002. You can contact Don Timmerman at Timmerman Realty for all your realty needs. You can reach him by phone at 715-684-9541 or by email at dontimmerman@baldwin-telecom.net. Even though we don't know what life has in store for our homes or cars, we can still prepare. Introducing the Damage Doesn't Have to Be Too Damaging policy from American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. For details, contact Agent Justin Nygaard. Call 715-684-2919 or stop by 775 Main Street in Baldwin today. So, a couple threes in the last 2 possessions for the Hawks. Put them up 6. And looks like Osceola had subs number 5, Cade Rysdam. Yep, Rysdam, and that is all for the Chieftains. Hawks trot out the 5 that they had before, left-handed. Up nice board there by Coonan. He can't finish though on the offensive rebound. So Osceola fortunate there to pull away that rebound, and here they come.
Yeah, it was a couple good chances there by Eli. Way to crash the board. Sometimes you just don't get those to fall.
Haas on his way to the basket will travel. So the Hawks, Sam Hush Sr. going to come in, number 10, and returning starter number 1, Colin Fritz. Coonan and Thompson getting their first break of the night. And in for the Chieftains, senior number 10, Charlie Tronrud. He's actually leading the team in assists. Not sure if he's a usual starter, but in for the first time tonight. Quarterback for the Chieftains is Tronrud, had a really nice fall. Fritz will find Van Someren. Van Someren's going to rise up from the free throw line, and he's going to sink that. So the Hawks doubling up the Chieftains 16-8 on some hot shooting these last few possessions.
It was, and he really elevated on that shot. Got up high, didn't allow anything to come close to it in terms of getting it blocked. Nice job.
Osceola scoreless in the last handful of possessions. They're looking for a good look, and they'll get a good look under the basket, but it's not going to fall. That's number 5, Rysdam. Unfortunate there. Slater, though, able to take it away from Werner in transition, and here come the Chieftains. Haas under the basket, can't quite collect. He'll fire it off of a Blackhawk, and it'll stay with BW.
And going back to that last Osceola play, I mean, it's one of those disappointing ones. You do everything right, you get an open layup, and you still don't get it to drop as an Osceola player. I mean, that's disappointing, but you keep playing.
Right. Tronrud's going to take it in near the basket. No luck on the finish. They'll get an extra chance this possession following the offensive rebound. Slater can't handle it under the basket from Rysdam, and that's going to be BW ball. But continued pressure from the Chieftains. We're just over 8 minutes into this first half. 18-minute halves for varsity contests in Wisconsin.
It is, and we're going to be looking for a little back screen here and a little ball screen action. Or maybe not.
Yeah, I think that either Werner wasn't aware of the back screen or he rejected it. Once again, Hawks looking for the best shot, not looking to rush anything. Post entry to Fritz. He's surrounded by 3 Chieftains. Van Someren's going to sky up for 2. So Van Someren 4 points off the bench. Nice job there. Puts the Hawks up double digits, 18-8 in the early going.
Another time, that time you actually had Osceola with 3 guys guarding the ball down in the block. Great pass out of it for the nice easy layup.
Rysdam under the basket misses. Offsy right wing, same spot. No good on that one. That would have been tough for the Chieftains to swallow, but short on the attempt, and Osceola will get things moving.
And again, you saw BW trying to push the ball, trying to get it up. Again, kind of like I was saying earlier, it's not something you see this team do a lot. They definitely seem to have an idea that they can push the ball against Osceola a little bit tonight, because it seems like they've been playing more up-tempo, more trying to get out.
Right. Bradway, the leading scorer for Osceola. Nice contested 2 there. Puts the Chieftains back within 8. Sean Van Someren no good on the 3. Short on that one, and Bradway's going to collect the rebound and push for the Chieftains. Ulrich thought about it in transition.
They'll step back and reset up.
Slater's going to drive in toward the hoop, and he's going to go for 2. Nice finish from the junior. And Osceola not going away. They've had a handful of years with some less than excellent teams where maybe have lacked in the toughness department, but this team has proven to have such toughness. But there, Mason Werner coming off of a 15-plus performance over Turtle Lake. Nice fadeaway jumper from around the free throw line puts the Hawks back up 8.
Yeah, and really since he's come back, he's been a definite spark for them offensively. Another guy that can get out there and score.
Fritz with his second steal of the night takes that one away easily on the post entry. Hush tries to get to the baseline. He can't, so he'll fire it to Werner. Back to Hush, back to Werner.
And I know Fritz was calling for the ball. There was actually a good read as he couldn't see it, but there was a help defender right there on the baseline.
Turnaround jumper, Sean Van Someren. He's really finding that groove tonight. He's got 6 points off the bench. Hawks up 22-12. St. Croix Garage Doors provides Western Wisconsin with top quality garage door sales, service, and installation. We proudly serve Baldwin, Woodville, Hudson, Richmond, River Falls, Stillwater, Menominee, and surrounding areas. Give Brian a call today at 715-781-8989 for a quote, install, or service. One of the things that makes life what it is that you never know what might be around the next corner. But whatever life brings, Wisconsin Credit Union will be right here alongside you. Because together, we're not just strong, we're community strong. Whether you're an experienced bowler or just want to hang out with your family and friends, come to Strikers Lanes and Sports Bar. We've been a staple in the community for over 40 years. Our lanes were recently upgraded and remodeled, giving our bowling alley a great modern look. In addition to our popular bowling lanes, we have a sports bar fully remodeled and separate from lanes and party area. CW Garage Doors is your go-to source for the wholesale distribution of high-quality residential commercial garage doors and their related parts and options. For over 15 years, we have provided exceptional customer service through our personal, hands-on approach. Our flexible schedule ensures we will work with you to provide a quick turnaround and prompt delivery. For more information on CW Garage Door Distribution Incorporated, please contact us at 877-684-5125. So, coming out of the timeout, Osceola down 10. Looks like they're going to walk out the same 5 with one sub. Dylan Saluski, number 22, in for the Chieftains. And the Hawks, Caleb Locker returns along with Cam Thompson, Keegan Offsey, Sean Van Someren, Mason Werner getting a break, as Eli Kunin also back in the game.
Yeah, and Osceola's really had a hard time here on offense getting anything going. They've had, they've had some points on some putbacks. They did hit a 3 a little bit ago, but for the most part, BW's defense has pretty well shut them down. And now we've got a foul underneath the basket.
So Fritz on the arm. We're going to get that foul is going to be called on the ground. Slater's going to take a break for the Chieftains in returning starter Aiden Steffen. Osceola lucky to get that inbounds pass in. Hawks aggressive in the passing lanes as always. Ulrich, wing 3, no good. Tronrud gets the rebound. Ulrich will end up finding it, getting it to Steffen.
Good job of Osceola. They're digging that thing out of there.
Pressure defense, though, forces a turnover, and the Hawks will get possession. And it looks like Osceola going to pull back on that pressure.
It is, and it was really just token pressure to begin with. Just trying to make the guards work a little bit, but really not looking for a turnover out of any of it.
Caleb Blocker a bit ambitious with his screen technique, and that's going to be a foul. Caleb's second. Something to keep notice of. Not too many fouls here, over 2/3 of the way through the first half. Only 5 between the two teams, 3 for BW, 2 for Osceola. It's been a physical game underneath the basket, but fair and legal thus far.
Yeah, we've got 3 good officials here that are going to let these guys play a little bit.
Good find by Tronrud. He's going to find Ulrich, who's going to be fouled and shoot 2 free throws for the Chieftains.
And that was the second time that Fritz found himself kind of in no man's land. He wanted to set up and take a charge. Nice job both times by the Osceola guy to avoid any contact with him. And that time he just, after he didn't get the charge, found himself out of position, committed the foul.
So Fritz, with his second, he's going to take a seat. One of those players in the conference that flies a little bit under the radar. Fritz, since his freshman season, hugely important for BW in the scoring department and defensively, and he'll take a seat now. Hawks will call a set play. 22-12. They're still up 10. and they'll get things rolling.
Nice defense there by Osceola to cut him off.
Wing 3, Sam Hush. Good to see that for Sam, another player that's worked his way through all levels of high school basketball. Big 3 there, puts the Hawks up 13 in this first half. Ulrich under the basket. He's going to finish for 2.
And there was a nice little dot there where you had looked like Keegan kind of jumped out to help a little bit. Rotation a little slow.
Hawks still up 11, 4 minutes to play. Cam Thompson deep 3 left wing, and the 3-point shot falling for the Hawks. They double up Osceola 28-14.
It is, and as the season has gone on, that's to me the biggest thing that you've seen is that guys are starting to shoot the ball with some confidence. 3-pointers have been going in. We just see one there by Hush. We see another one by Thompson. Guys aren't hesitating. They're getting the ball. They're confident. They're shooting it. It's good.
No good there from the elbow is Stefan. Hawks will get the rebound. And early in the season, the big question mark was consistent scoring for the Hawks, and it's continued to be spreading the wealth, and everybody's kind of leveled up their game. Like you said, the perimeter shot has been shot with more confidence and has been falling more consistently. And if BW can add that to their repertoire, they're going to be a tough out down the stretch in conference play and beyond. Opsy left wing 3, good, and we're talking about it. We'll continue to because they keep hitting them. 31-14, Hawks pouring it on.
Yeah, I guess that's all on us, huh? We talk about it, they do it.
Good defense there. Hawks had an opportunity for a run-out 3-on-1 there, but that'll find out of bounds and in for the Hawks. Van Sommer and Werner, a couple juniors for a couple of hard-working seniors, Caleb Locker and Sam Hush. Great minutes from them, Werner and Van Sommer, who both have added some good offense off the bench back in for the Hawks. We're going to get some extended zone from BW.
We do, and not something you've seen very often out of BW.
Osceola with a pretty good look. The backside cut toward the basket out of the zone. No dice there. That's Saluski on the shot attempt. Corner 3, no good from Slater.
And we'll have to see here. I really wasn't sure here if BW was man or zone out of bounds play. And frankly, I'm not sure if the whole team knew what they were, because it looked like there were a couple guys playing man, a couple guys playing zone.
Right.
Sometimes when you throw something in there, it takes guys a few possessions to understand what's going on and to know what's happening.
Nice feed there from Coonan to Van Sommer, but nice help defense from Bradway. He'll knock it away. Hawks still up 15. We're under 2 minutes to play in the first half. And a zone look again from BW. They're trying to trap that corner. Tough cross-court pass. Nice job by, that's Stefan to Haas, and Haas is going to have an opportunity for an and one old-fashioned 3-point play.
Yeah, it's really an extended 2-3 is really what they're playing. They're really coming out and extending on that. We'll see. Osceola's had some pretty good looks on it right away. We'll see if they stick with that too much longer.
Quick turnaround jumper from Van Sommer, and I love his confidence. He's one of the few players in the last handful of years that he gets it and he'll just go up and rise up, use that elevation and turn his body while he's in the air. Really nice finish there. 8 points in the first half from Van Sommer.
Yep, and I guess there's our answer. They're out of the zone already. They're back to playing man.
Yep. Coach Benoit had enough those last couple possessions. So Hawks still up 15. Just about a minute to go. Slater deep 3 right wing, no good. Haas doing all he can to get the rebound. He will. Bradway will shoulder in, try to kick. but Kant has that one taken away by Thompson, and we're going to get no timeout, just a little communication between the point guard and the head coach, and with 30 seconds, BW looking to pad this 15-point lead going into half.
Yeah, only 2 fouls on the Chieftains. I wouldn't be surprised if they stepped up and tried to look to commit a foul here just to throw things off. The only thing you don't want obviously one of your good players, well, they're all good players, but one of your better scorers to get into foul trouble by doing that. But
Keegan Opsey, a couple shots near the end of the half there. Neither of them fall, but the Hawks remain up 15, 33-18 at the half. BW with a real impressive showing in the first half here at home. We'll join you in about 10 minutes for the second half here at Blackhawk TV. Thanks for joining us. Talk to you soon.
mic going.
Test.
Sounds loud, but I guess it's probably good.
Welcome back for Blackhawk TV's presentation of BW hosting Osceola. BW up 33-18 at the half. Real impressive half offensively for the Hawks, both inside and outside of the arc. Filling it up, I'm sure shooting a good percentage. BW with Kunin, Opsy, and Van Someren 8 points apiece in that first half. We're going to have same starters for the Chieftains, and I think one substitution for the Hawks. Werner getting the second half start in place of Locker. So Osceola's going to get the possession out of half, going right to left. Here we go.
Yeah, we also have Van Someren in for Fritz.
Oh, that's right.
As a different starter there for the Blackhawks.
So two changes.
And just a quick update, the Baldwin Woodville girls team is currently up 17-16 with about 12.5 minutes left in the second half at Barron.
All right. Hawks looking to pick up a nice non-conference win on the road. Second leg of a back-to-back on the road. Good anticipation there from Werner. He's going to get it ahead to Van Someren. He's going to sky up. And good transition defense. Credit to Stefan going up with Van Someren there and contesting it.
It was. That would have been a time where it would have been nice to see a little jump stop, let the guy fly by you, lay that in. When your adrenaline's like that, that's tough to do.
Right. Haas from the baseline, no good on the feed from Ulrich.
What was nice to see there was Van Someren come right back, get the nice rebound.
Really nice feed from Werner. Kunin drop step, left-handed half hook for two.
Very similar start to the second half as the start to the first half. We saw Kunin start the first half, I believe, with the first 4 or 6 points.
Yep.
Just getting it down on the post, and when he gets it down there, hey, he's a load. He's tough to stop. When BW gets it down to him, we saw Osceola go to a double down there quite a bit as the first half went on. Didn't look like they had a double that time. We'll see if they go back to it.
Hawks up 17 in the early going off the 2 from Kunin. Osceola very methodical with this possession, looking for the best option. Ulrich top of the key. And they'll continue to work through their offense. Coach Benoit and the bench encouraging Hawks defense to stay strong, stay disciplined. Straight up is Werner, but a tough finish from the junior Slater.
It was, and there was a little bit there where it looked like Osceola was a little out of sync. You had 2 cutters cutting to the same spot. They got it back under control, didn't panic. Nice little shot in the lane.
High post handoff from Kunin. Errant entry there from Thompson is picked off. Nice pass to Bradway in transition. Bradway right to left, reverse layup for 2 Chieftains back within 13.
Yeah, really nice play all around there by Stefan. Gets the steal, coming around without making contact, leads the break, great pass. Nice job there by Stefan.
Left wing 3, Werner, good. Love to see that from Mason Werner. Quality points from a quality player. After his illness, kind of a 2-week break there. Good to see him come back in stride. He had a real nice night last week, getting going now in the first half. But Bradway, the answer on the right baseline for 2, Hawks up 14.
Yeah, and like you talked about earlier, if BW is shooting like that, hey, they're going to be a really tough out. That last possession down here by Osceola looked like Keegan went for a steal, didn't quite get it, and kind of gave up an easy. I shouldn't say easy, but a short little, pretty uncontested 2.
Yeah, and the Hawks obviously got to take care of business tonight, and they've, earlier this season on this very court had a huge lead against Somerset, saw that evaporate, so I'm sure they don't want to see that repeat as they believe and proven through the first 20 or so minutes of the game that they're the better team, but they got to take care of business. But Friday, a matchup that a lot of basketball fans, especially BW fans, have circled is at Prescott, and obviously BW drew a really tough schedule to start the year. You were with me when they hosted St. Croix Central, and Prescott St. Croix Central right now 1-2 respectively, in the middle border. Left wing 3, Keegan Offsey, in and out. But Friday's it's a huge opportunity for the Hawks because, early in the season when you've got, some juniors now playing a lot more varsity, and the seniors getting integrated with those juniors, it was a little bit more of a raw unit. But like you've mentioned, inside out, having that three-point presence now, they really can present some difficulties for a Prescott team, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Honestly, the first time they played Prescott, it was definitely an issue offensively, as we also saw against Central. But BW struggled on defense in that Prescott game. You remember they had basically they could score at will for quite some time there. And I would expect Prescott to come out with a lot of confidence. But it's going to be a different game. You would expect defensively that it's going to be more of a defensive battle. I don't remember off the top of my head what that score ended up at.
I think Prescott finished with a 15-point victory. But I think your take is right that they really kind of at will were able to get into the lane, and that presented a lot of problems for BW because obviously with Malmlov, who was actually out for a period of the second half, but he's one of the best perimeter shooters in this part of the state. And then they've got some strength and size underneath, and they've earned their position both in the state rankings and being undefeated conference right now. But like you said, BW's come a long way, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun watching some of these seniors for BW, try to make a statement on a floor that they have not won on, I don't think ever, especially in that new gym for Prescott.
Yeah, it's been a tough place to play. Even with the old gym, it's definitely, as you said, maybe ever. Malmlov had just an outstanding game against us, and frankly, we didn't have an answer. Everything we threw at him, I know Keegan played him for a large part of the game, and Keegan's a good defender, and he was able to pull up, and some of the shots that he took in that first game are shots you just got to tip your cap to. If he's pulling up 7-8 feet behind the arc, and draining it, there's not a whole lot that you can do to stop that.
Correct.
And we'll see if he has the same kind of success because he's a kid that if he gets into that zone, there's really not a whole lot that you can do. And, we had our best defender on him, trying to slow him down, and it didn't slow him down in the least.
Right.
So I would expect him not to have quite the shooting game that he had the first game, just because, man, that's hard. He was lights out. So I would expect that to change a little bit, but obviously we'll see. And as we look here, we've still got a game here. It's a 15-point lead. BW is still getting it around. They're jumping down. That time again they tripled.
And the three-point success continues. One-handed cross-court pass from the big man, Kunin, who hit a three of his own a couple possessions ago, and another wing three for the Hawks. They're up 18. A little greedy on defense there. Cam Thompson gets the reach, but nonetheless, Hawks continue to pour it on from the perimeter. Coach Malloy might be wishing they could save some of these for Friday night's game because they're going to need them.
They might.
But nonetheless, building that confidence, like you mentioned, it's a whole different confidence that they're shooting with right now, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
It is, and it hasn't just been tonight. It's been for a number of games now. I thought they shot the ball real well against Altoona. Altoona did kind of some gimmicky things against them, and they were able to handle most of that. Altoona had a little run there to kind of bring it back, but they shot the ball real well against them. They shot the ball pretty well against Turtle Lake for the most part. Who was a scrappy bunch, and again they've shot the ball well here tonight. And part of it is Kunin is doing a phenomenal job down there in the block. When they're dumping it down to him, he's doing a phenomenal job of recognizing, hey, are they coming with the double, or are they staying back? And if they're playing him one, he's eating them up down low. And if they're coming with a double, he's done a really good job in the second half, kicking out to an open guy for a three. And guys have knocked it down. I mean, it takes both of those to happen, but he's done a great job down low. one of the better games I've seen out of Eli the last couple. He's really starting to turn it on, and that could cause problems here for the rest of the conference.
Yeah, you're 100% right, and that's a really nice feed. I mean, spoken into existence there. Kunin using that vision, quick feed down to Opsy, and Hawks back up 18. But that is one thing that, you know, Prescott does have a very long, tall athlete in Wallen. You know, Dallas Wallen's one of the better sophomores in the state of Wisconsin, as represented by, you know, the state rankings. And when you watch him, you can understand it. But not a true post by any means. And so if BW can establish a post presence early through Kunin, and then like you mentioned, if he can use that vision to find the open man, if Prescott does have to double, that could present some problems. On the flip side, though, what I think Coach Benoit is really going to think about over the next handful of days is how do we handle kind of that two-headed monster of Malmlov and Wallen, because you can't, you know, you got to put a very capable defender on Dallas, or else he's going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, because he had an outstanding game against us as well. As much as we talk about Malmlov, Wallen was another guy that we really didn't have an answer for.
Nice find there. Fritz just short, not his best offensive night, but continues to play good defense for the Hawks in his role. Still up 18, a runner, not going to find the rim. Hush will turn. Just too long on that pass from Thompson to Fritz.
It was, yeah, and you can see Sam Hush here walking back saying, yeah, I should have hit you going down. He missed the pass right away, and he'll get it back. He'll get it back.
Yep, and we mentioned earlier in the stream, this is Hawks looking for win 7 in a row, which would be the longest winning streak in nearly a decade for BW, and well earned, as a lot of these players at all levels. Hawks got a 3-on-1 opportunity. Can't contain it, but they'll get possession. Cam Thompson looking to count by threes again, and he will. 49-28, and I'm not 100% sure what the three-point percentage is, but I think it might be north of 50%, as Cam Thompson not only hits a three, but he's going to get a quick steal. He's going to go up for 2, miss. His buddy Sam Hush is there. He's going to go up for 2 again, and he'll do it the hard way. And the lead is at 23. We're going to get a full timeout from Osceola, and these Hawks making a statement here in the West Gym at BW High School. So we're going to do a quick ad read. Long time there without a stoppage. A-Star Concrete Pumping Incorporated is proud to be family-owned and operated in Wisconsin. We pride ourselves on maintaining a high-quality, unique fleet, very knowledgeable staff to complete all products. Contact them at 715-246-3920. Nielsen's Foods has been serving community since 1903. We offer full-service caribou, bakery, deli, and meat departments. Nielsen's Food wishes Baldwin Woodville schools and athletics the best in their achievement towards excellence. Precision Excavating Enterprises is a full-service excavating, grading, and trucking contractor located in Baldwin, offering all types of residential, commercial, earth-moving, septic system, demolition, landscaping, driveway, and building sites. Give us a call at 715-760-0768 for free estimates. And Firehelm Langer is a CPA firm with offices in Baldwin, Ellsworth, River Falls, and Lake Elmo. At Firehelm Langer, our clients are top priority. We offer the skills and expertise of a large CPA firm combined with personal attention and responsiveness. So, we're just about halfway through second half. Offensive explosion there for the Hawks.
Yeah, and another quick update here. Girls are up 30-21 up at Barron, for those of you interested. But kind of like we talked about earlier, and you see the Hawks still trying to push the ball. It'll be interesting to see is the fact that they're definitely pushing the ball more than at least what I've seen them do throughout the course of the season so far. Is that something that they thought they could take advantage of with Osceola, or is that something that they've been kind of slowly working in as the season has gone on? And
right.
we'll see that a little bit on Friday night, but I think it's definitely become fairly obvious that these guys are trying to definitely get out and run a little bit more than we've seen this team do so far in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've watched, more BW hoops through the years than I have. I really started watching attentively in 03, and that was a really good team. But the year before, when Jeremy, Blackhawk TV's own Jeremy Nygaard, was the point guard, I've watched some of the film from that with him, and they really got up and ran with it. And I think Coach Benoit kind of lets teams do that as they, as he sees fit. Is it something that they have in their ability? And I think that this group, a lot of athletes with natural speed and athleticism, and they're definitely a group, like you said, that when they get out and go, they can be really effective.
Yeah, and one of the ways that you've seen the evolution too of BW hoops is, back in those days, a lot of the pushing started with a press.
Right.
The Hawks pressed pretty much all game long, and it wasn't always to get a steal, it wasn't always to get a turnover. Sometimes it was just to make the other team work. And you've seen that evolution come from Coach Benoit. They don't press nearly to the level. In fact, we haven't seen a press at all tonight out of BW, and really all year, unless there's been a situation where you've needed it late in the game. It's not a staple of what they do anymore. And really, getting out and running hasn't been to that extreme. You think back to that year in 02 that you're talking about. That was a team that was just loaded with athletes, and it was,
right.
Yeah, we're gonna press and we're gonna run. The interesting thing about that team was, even as the year went on, they were not good at running a half-court offense.
Yeah.
And my phone's probably going to light up here with some text from some of those guys if they're listening, but they were not good at running a half-court offense. If they weren't getting out, running down the floor, if we had to walk it up, or there was a stoppage of play and they had to bring it up, it wasn't something they were real good at.
Sure. Yeah, obviously each team with their strengths and weaknesses. That's fun to hear your perspective, and you obviously were a part of that group. And what was your first year? That's going to be a charge. Nice take there, right in the chest by, not sure if it was Locker or Fritz. But what was your first year helping out really at any level here at Dalton Woodville?
My first year down there helping coaching was the 98-99 school year.
Okay.
Yeah, we struggled a little bit that year. We had a few wins, but definitely a struggle of a year on the varsity end. And actually, the first couple of years that I was here, that first year we definitely struggled. They had just come off a really good run,
right?
And that was kind of the first year where we struggled a little bit. We lost a couple of close ones early, and kind of suffered through part of the season. The next year, I know that we kind of struggled a little bit too. You could start to see it turn around at that point, and we started to do a little bit better. And then that 02 team obviously was made it to the sectional final. But at that time, there were some really good middle border conference teams.
Yeah.
Durand went to state one of those years in there, 2000. Somewhere in that group.
And Osceola went to state in 01.
Osceola went to state, and Greg Cumlin, who's sitting down on the Osceola bench right now, kind of took a team on his back and carried them actually against Durand in a sectional semifinal at Amory.
Run out to Werner, good.
Yeah, so Durand had beat them twice, and I know he led them in a pretty big upset win over Durand, and then took them to state in the next game. So yeah, there were some really good teams back then. We were right there with them a lot of those years.
Absolutely. Me and Nygaard were talking just the other night. I think it was when the boys hosted Turtle Lake that, the middle border for high school football fans, the middle border has represented at the state championship game level, close to 10 times over the last 15 or so years. But basketball-wise, like you just mentioned, since the 2000s, and even into the 90s, the middle border kind of slowly but surely continues to be a factor at the state tournament. Prescott winning a title 3 years ago with Petey Brookshaw and company. Last year, St. Croix Central making it down there for the first time in program history. And like you mentioned, in the early 2000s, schools like Osceola, Durand. So it's a credit to basketball in this part of the state.
Yeah, one of the things that I think that's been kind of different is, and a nice three there by Caleb Locker, is that it seemed like there were always 2 or 3 really good teams that you looked at and said, you know, they got a shot. If things go well, they got a shot of getting there. Recently, it's kind of been Prescott.
Yep.
And now, obviously, we can say Central last year. So I do think that overall, top to bottom, it's probably not quite to the level that it was 15 years ago, but the tops have definitely been very good.
Sure.
And I can even go back farther than that. I remember back when St. Croix Falls, a Middle Border Conference member, went down and won state.
Sure.
Back in 1992.
See, we were talking about that last night on the stream, and Schomer, who you obviously both know well, was talking about a Greenquist that potentially played on that 92 team, because there's been a couple Greenquist, both male and female, that have come up through the ranks at St. Croix Falls, because St. Croix Falls girls especially have been extremely impressive. Testament to BW girls beating St. Croix Falls last night, but even the boys last couple of years, they've had a Greenquist. And yeah, the middle border, we talked the other night as well, has changed so much over the last 30 years. I mean, I know you probably remember when Hudson was a part of it, River Falls.
Yeah, it's a different conference, and schools have changed in size. Obviously, this year now we have Altoona in. That has changed it up. I think that's a good move. Altoona in, kind of New Richmond out. I think size-wise that just fits.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely changed. You had the Hudson. You had St. Croix Falls and Unity were both in the conference when I started here. Hudson was not. They were Big Rivers by that point. But it's definitely changed. But there has always been some quality basketball. It's just how far down does it go?
Sure.
And even looking this year, there's between BW and you've got Prescott and you've got Central are 3 pretty good teams, I think, that are going to battle it out. And not to say that Osceola can't and come back, and that Altoona can't and come back, but I hope that we're getting back to the point where you have 3 or 4 good, solid teams. I think that really led to those teams going to state, because you went through the
ringer.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Prescott, BW, and Central, all teams that expect to make significant runs, and they're going to see each other, respectively through the playoffs if they wish to make that happen. Another team that BW's played in the non-conference over the last handful of years, West Salem, having a really, really successful run in the southwest part of the state. They're actually under former GT coach at the moment, who had a lot of success with GT through the years. But yeah, it's going to be a fun last couple months of the basketball season. When we first met on the stream hosting St. Croix Central, it was kind of that first quadrant of the year where you just want to get things going. You want to see what your team looks like, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses. But now it is kind of going to, we're almost into February, and that's when things start to get very important. And
yep. And like you said, kind of the first quadrant of the year, and you do spend a lot of that first part of the year, you work on your stuff. And now at this point of the year, you're starting to say, okay, we have our stuff figured out. Now we're looking at team matchups a lot more. More of your game preparation isn't about what you do. It's more about, all right, we know what we do now. Let's see what they do.
Sure.
And you see this now, and now this really is a true 1-3-1.
So the Hawks have built a 25-point lead, 59-34 right now. Continued great perimeter shooting.
And just a little update here. The aforementioned Matt Schomer did want to let me know that St. Croix Falls was not in the middle border in 1992.
Oh,
and he would know, as he was a player in the middle border in 1992. If he wasn't, I'm sure he's going to let me know that.
Nice put back there from Haas.
Quick update on the girls' game. We've got 34-27 with 44 seconds to go. So looking there like we could hold on.
Hawks looking to bounce back from a week where they lost 2 of 3. 2 close games, one here against Ellsworth for the girls and on the road at Prescott. Tough losses, hoping to bounce back with 2 quality cross-conference matchups. St. Croix Falls and Barron, both of the Heart of North, that could definitely figure into seeding purposes come playoff time, so that's a good thing for the girls. Bradway's going to have a runaway here. He's going to try to finish. Can't. Nice transition defense from Coonan.
Yeah, tried to go into Coonan, get some contact. Nice job by Coonan of not allowing any contact. By the way, for those of you that don't know how that St. Croix Falls team finished up, either type into your Google St. Croix Falls 1992 or Brett Brown St. Croix Falls 1992, and you'll see one of the greatest finishes in WIAA state history. They still show it just about every state tournament when you go down there.
I'll have to do that. I'm not sure. Was it like a last second type thing, or was it just a great game?
It was I believe overtime, and a half-court 3 thrown up for a prayer that went in.
So 3.5 minutes to go. Hawks up 22. Both teams now in the bonus. Hawks looking to put the nails in the coffin here down the stretch. Osceola has a lot of work to do in the last 3 or so minutes here. Hawks gonna give a little bit of that zone look, and that's one thing, you know, in my opinion, when this season really took a pivot in the Hawks favor, was that non-conference home win day game against Rice Lake over the holiday break, where they beat a team in Rice Lake that's in the top half of the Big Rivers with an oar, well, a pair of oars, but an older oar, son of the coach, that's one of the best scorers in this part of the state, in the northwest part of the state. And the Hawks with a 3-2 zone, kind of a shell zone. Nice finish by Fritz. They really shut him down, and they picked up a super valuable non-conference win. And from then, like we mentioned, they've won 6 going on 7 in a row. And if they can replicate that kind of defensive effort, you know, in an effort to maybe shut down Malmlob and Prescott on Friday, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. We're going to get a 5 in, 5 out here. It's fun to see this for some younger kids that don't get to play a lot. We're going to get essentially the JV starters with Elijah Heimer, Ethan Ferndenzer, Heimer 20, Ferndenzer 22, Evan Clausen, number 11, number 24, James Borkart, number 14, Reese Guthrie.
Yeah, good to see these guys get in there. We'll see. Looks like they're just going to switch back to man. And you could see that last couple minutes there, Coach Manoy was trying to use some of that time to work on that 1-3-1. Don't know when or if we're going to see that at a later date, but definitely they're working on it, trying to get there. And in Barron, we have a final. Baldwin Woodville 36, Barron 30. Great job, girls.
So that'll put the girls squad at 11-4 overall in the year. Really nice job under Coach English. Tronrud with a nice take, not going to be able to finish that. Hawks will turn and push. Nice find there from Clausen to Guthrie for 2 more. Hawks up 26. And this is really, in my opinion, a statement win at home for the Hawks. Not because Osceola is contending for a conference title, but because, you know, when you have a team that wants to be that top tier, legit contender, it's important to take care of business at home in convincing fashion.
Well, yeah, and like you said, you know, at the start of this broadcast, Osceola they're a pretty good team. They were 3-3 coming in. BW is 4-2, so you're only looking at a game separation, conference standing wise, and yeah, to be able to come out here and get a 20-point victory, assuming that they can't score 24 points in the last minute, 20 seconds.
Absolutely.
You're exactly right. They took care of business at home in a convincing fashion.
And just about a minute to play here in Baldwin Woodville. Hawks trying to finish the job. Corner 3 by Ferndenzer, no good. Osceola with nothing to lose, going to launch a 3 from the left wing, no good. That's going to go off the back of the backboard. Chieftains also have in some subs. 34 Jacob Schultz with his first action of the night, but others played throughout the night. You know, I think that in large part, Osceola played hard. It was just tough to get things going offensively, and that's something that can be said for any team that goes up against BW this season. Is it's tough to penetrate that stifling D, you know, presented by Fritz and Offsee, Thompson, and company.
Yeah, and we've seen that all year. If you know, the defense was there, the defense was, you know, outside of the Prescott game, the defense was there in the Central game. It was just the offense, and you look at their last number of games, the offense is definitely catching up. That'll be a fun game down in Prescott.
Absolutely. We will not be streaming that, but they often have a stream, whether it's through NFHS or the Huddle Zoom that they use. And so all things lead to Prescott this Friday. Hawks take care of business here on a Tuesday night at Baldwin-Woodville High School. They moved to 10-3 overall, 5-2 in conference, good for third place all by themselves. And Osceola will fall to 6-6, 3-4 in conference. So for our cameraman Zach Ambrose, Coach Stitt, thanks for joining us. My name's Jordan Lehman. Thanks for joining us here at Blackhawk TV. You have a great night, and we'll see you next time.